If you want your song to sound louder, turn the fucking knob up. You, an indie songwriter, want to make your song start to finish, and that's great. But please, stop squashing 50 layers of track into your song and sausage limiting the shit out of it. Focus on the goddamn song. Speaking of sausages, you treat your music like a bad cook.
Get my lawyer!
When you have a weak melody or bad vocals, you try to cover it up. You add 10 layers of synths, double track an acoustic guitar, add a kalimba on top of that and drown it all under the layer of reverb. And you think you're making it huge. In reality, you're just making an edible slop. Imagine you bought a half-spoiled piece of meat. Now tell me, how much spices are gonna save you from a bad case of food poisoning? None. No amount of EQing, reverb, saturation will save your song if it doesn't grab by the balls while being sung drunk on a pool party on a half-tuned ukulele. In cooking terms, all a good steak requires is just a great piece of meat, some salt and pepper. That's it. If you want to sound huge, look for a producer. If for some reason you can't find me by following the link in the description, here are some tips for you. First thing you gotta understand is that you're strictly limited with a box, which is limited by 20 hertz. First thing you gotta understand is that you're strictly limited to the box that has 20 Hz to 20 kHz on one axis and noise floor to 0 dBFS on another axis. Those are your physical constraints. You can't break them, the same as you can fly or going 20 kilometers per hour on a highway without wrapping your guts on the lamppost. So, you will have to prioritize. A huge kick will inevitably fuck your bass up. Huge distorted guitars will make your baritone sound like a piece of shit. Why do you think 99% of classic metal vocalists sound like they've got their balls crammed in a steel vise? Or take a closer look at Rammstein's Till Lindemann. He almost never sings in a low key along with the guitars, and if he does, it's a shitload of mixing work. But here's the paradox. The more you're trying to squash into a mix, the quieter it is. And vice versa. Take Dimmu Borgir's International Summit and Billie Eilish's Bad Guy. While both songs look like sausages and have a similar LUFS level, they sound way differently. And that's all because Dimmu Borgir has a full orchestra, a full metal band, a full choir and a full synth on top of that, while Billie and Finian only got a bass, a clap and vocals. Their sonic boxes are the same, but in Dimmu Borgir's International Summit, every instrument gets about 5% of overall volume capacity, and in Bad Guy, the kick can take up about half of the sonic space and kick you right in the face. So, it's up to you to choose what matters most in your song. Loudness of each instrument or huge orchestration. Because if you do not choose this yourself, the physics will choose it for you. And you will not like this choice. Where does that put us in our production process? There is a limit at which your music starts sounding like a bad beer fart. So, you have to take from something else to make something sound huge. Cut the guitars at the end of the verse to make the chorus explode. Apply an extreme cutting EQ to the synth before the climax of your song. Remove all but the main vocals from the vocal group before the huge final of your song. If you ever watched horror movies, you know that the screamers work only because there is an eerie silence before them. Now imagine the villains shouting for 2 hours non-stop. That instantly stops being a horror and becomes a bad art house. In the end of the day, Spotify will normalize your song so that it stays in line with all the rest. So don't sweat it. The emotions you put in the track are not worth fighting over another 2 dB loudness that you will gain from the track that will be lost anyway with the Spotify normalizing algorithms. It is your job to write a great song. It is my job to produce it. And it is the mixing engineer who will do all the mumbo-jumbo with the knobs and compressors and whatnot.